Hello, everyone. We'll just welcome to the live session. We'll just wait for a few more moments for the people to join us, and then we shall begin with the live session with the today's topic of IT. Let's just wait for a few moments. Yes, we can start with today's live session. So I'm back again after a week with you guys. And as always mentioned that this live session is for you people to to share your thoughts. It's an open platform that you can ask your queries regarding any topic. And obviously with today's live session, after how it will work, like I will explain you with the today's topic of IT professionals and its PR pathway. And later on, we will have a small question and answer round where you can drop in your questions. So today's topic is for all the IT professionals out there. And as you know that IT has always been a most demanding occupation, and it's a very doable occupation to achieve permanent residency in Australia. So we have helped numerous clients in the IT field to achieve this goal. And however, I must stress that it can be competitive. So you need to put your best foot forward to increase your chances. So the term IT professional has a lot of occupations underneath them, like for example, business analysts, software engineers, programmers, IT support engineers, or multimedia specialists, security specialists, etc. So these are just a few examples of the professions falling under the IT category. However, there are various pathways to permanent residency for IT professionals. And it's important to understand that the path can vary depending on your specific occupation. So you be sure to check the requirements for your particular job. So most of the visas that we will be discussing today will lead to a permanent residency in Australia. However, it's crucial to understand that you will typically need a skills assessment for these visas. As you know that skill assessment is the first step towards a permanent residency. Hence, the first and the foremost criteria that we need to look on is the requirement and the eligibility for the ACS Skills Assessment. Now, ACS, you might have heard from various people, like ACS is the IT body for the skills assessment. So that's Australian Computer Society, which is the assessing body for many of these IT related occupations. So I will just share you a small PPT. Won't bore you guys much with a long one. So we'll just discuss the eligibility and then we can have a small question and answer round. Just a moment. Yes. As mentioned, like IT has a various like a very broad perspective occupations under the list. That is, there are many occupations under the medium term list and many under the short term list. So under the medium term list, few of the name which I have just told, like IT business analyst, security specialist, multimedia specialist. So the occupations under the medium term list has more options of more visa options available for them. And also there are many occupations under the short term list where we have experienced many invites last year. So these are like the options available for the IT occupations. Now, the first step, as we discussed, is the skills assessment. Now, in Australia, for ACS, for those who have studied IT degrees from Australia, so generally ACS has four pathways for a skill assessment. The first one is for the people, those who have completed their bachelor's degree or higher in Australia in ICT domain specifically. So the first pathway are for those people those who have completed minimum bachelor's degree or higher in Australia. And what you require to get a skill assessment in IT is there are two options. First, you need to complete a professional year program, or you need to have at least 1 year of post-qualification work experience. So what does this mean? Is that if you have completed, for example, a bachelor's degree, like a bachelor's in information technology and software engineer, and then you have a 1 year of experience as a software engineer, then you can apply for a skill assessment under the occupation as software engineer. So for this, you can, like, even if you don't do PY, you can still apply for the skill assessment if you have 1 year of experience. However, if you do a professional year program, you don't require 1 year of work experience. And with this professional year program, you can target multiple occupations as well. Like if you have studied Bachelor's of Information Technology with software engineer, we can target software engineer. Then you can also target other occupations under the same group, that is developer, programmer, and so on. So that's the benefit of the professional year program. Now going forward, this was the first pathway. Now going forward, the second one are for those who have studied IT degree overseas. So there are many applicants that who have achieved their permanent residency while being offshore. So it's not compulsory for people to be onshore to get invited for a permanent residency. So if you have studied IT offshore and if you have experience, then this pathway can be a possibility towards your permanent residency. Now to discuss, there are different pathways for offshore overseas IT qualification. We can go one by one. If it becomes confusing or something, we can have a question and answer round after that where you can ask me questions. Now the first one, if you have studied bachelor's or higher degree in ICT major, ICT major means at least 33% of your subjects must be related to IT. So if your bachelor's or higher degree is in ICT major, and if your qualification is closely related to the nominated occupation, then you require minimum of 2 years of relevant work experience in past 10 years. Which means that if you have studied a bachelor's degree in IT, in analysis, for example, BIT in analytics, and if you have 2 years of experience as a business analyst, then you can apply for the occupation as business analyst. However, if you have studied a bachelor's degree in IT, but your qualification is not closely related to the nominated occupation, then you require 4 years of experience. Which means that if you have studied bachelor's of software engineering, but have experience as a business analyst, then you require 4 years of experience to get it assessed under the business analyst. So this was for the ICT major domain. Now we will go for the ICT minor. As discussed, like if your subjects are not matching with 33% or more, then your qualification will be considered as ICT minor. Now for ICT minor, the same thing applies. Like if you have studied an IT qualification, which is minor, and your qualification is closely related, then you require 5 years of relevant work experience in past 10 years. However, if your qualification is not closely related, then you require 6 years of work experience in past 10 years. So you also need to look, like if your degree is in IT, then you also need to look whether your work experience is also closely related to the qualification which you have studied. If it is not closely related, then you require an extra year of experience for the assessment. So this was for ICT minor. Now going forward, like if someone has not studied a bachelor's degree in IT, they can also be eligible to apply if you have studied a diploma in IT and have a vast experience in IT domain. So which means that if you have studied a diploma, advanced diploma, or an associate degree, and that is ICT major, and your qualification is also related to your work experience, then you require 5 years of work experience and get your skills assessed. Now, if your qualification is not related to your work experience, then you require 6 years, as discussed before with the bachelor's one. Now, going forward, there will be many people as well, like those who have not studied IT, like they might have studied a diploma in leadership or a diploma in any other field other than non-ICT precisely. So if they have 6 years of relevant experience in past work history, then they can apply for the skill assessment with this occupation. However, they require an additional requirement, that is they need to submit an RPL report. RPL report is something that you need to submit your 2 project reports that you have worked during your work experience related to ICT. So So those people, those who have not studied IT, don't worry, you can still apply for the skill assessment if you have that minimum years of work experience. So for those people who haven't studied any qualification itself, then also they can apply for the skill assessment if they have 8 years of work experience in past work history, plus they have the RPL. Now these are the visa options. Like for one, as I told you, like IT has many options to apply for permanent residency. There are many visa options available for them. So the first one is the skilled migration visa, which everyone is quite aware of. That is 189. That is a skilled independent visa. 190, that's the state sponsored visa. And 491, that's a state regional and or family sponsored visa, which leads to a pathway to PR. So as you have seen last year that there were many invites for 189 in the last December round, many IT occupations applicants were invited at 85 points for their occupation. Even if they were not working, they get the skill assessment on the basis of PIVA and they got invited. For 190, each state, if you see, IT is open almost in each state. Like if you consider NSW, IT is under the target sector. If you consider Victoria, we have seen people getting invited in Victoria, and also they are giving priority to those who are working in their occupation. If you see Western Australia, Queensland, all these states have their occupations open for IT. Now for 491, currently NSW is closed. However, other states like Victoria, Western Australia, Queensland, Tasmania, or South Australia are open currently for 491. So for 491 as well, we have seen IT has always been in the occupation list. So you just need to check whether the occupation is open in that particular state. And if yes, then you can go ahead and lodge your expression of interest. Now, if you're not like if you are not getting like high ranking EOIs, if you have not achieved PT, if not NATI, but you have experience and you are working in Australia with an Australian employer, then you can also look for the options of employer sponsored visa. That is 482, 186, or 49. Now, 482 is if you have 2 years of work experience in IT, and if your employer is ready to sponsor you, then they can sponsor you for 482. That's temporary employer sponsored visa. Now, if you have 3 years of full-time experience and have a skill assessment in IT, and plus an employer who is ready to sponsor you, then they can also sponsor you directly for 186 direct entry. So these are also the visa options that you can consider other than the skill visa if you have that relevant number of work experience. And if you are offshore and if you have this many years of experience and if an Australian employer is ready to sponsor you, then also you can consider these options. Also, if your salary, if you are a recent PhD student or a doctorate student, and also if you're working in IT domain and your salary is above the high threshold limit, then you can also consider global talent visa. And if you require more information for that, you can book in a consultation with one of our specialist team for this. Now, let's just stop sharing. Sorry. As we have discussed the skills assessment requirement and the EOI, now we can go ahead with the question and answer round. But before that, I would like to say to you guys that it's essential to remember that the IT field is highly competitive and many IT professionals and graduates apply for permanent residency. So you need to stand out. Besides the skill assessment, having at least a superior English or a relevant work experience can give you an edge. So scoring as many points as possible is crucial. And in conclusion, I would just like to say that permanent residency in Australia is indeed attainable in IT professions. So while it's competitive, however, getting the right qualification, skill assessment, and a strong EOI can make all the difference. So we have seen numerous IT professionals successfully achieving their PR goals, and you can too. So please get in touch with us if you require any assistance for the skill assessment in IT, because ACS in particular is I would say it's very particular with its requirements. So they don't even give you a chance if it gets refused, or if some of the documents are missing, or if some of the requirements or information is missing in the letter. So if you really do require an assistance, you can contact us and we can help you for the skills assessment through IT. Now the platform is open for you guys to ask your questions, and I will try to answer as much as possible. So let's begin. So I've got a question. I've completed IT course in December 2022, started PY in October 2023. That gap would be a problem in getting skill assessment. So there won't be an issue if you have a gap in starting a professional year, because you can start a professional year while being on a full-time working visa. So once you complete it, you can be eligible to apply for a skill assessment. Any benefit of getting a provisional skills assessment from ACS? So generally people do a provisional skill assessment to check whether the degree is ICT minor or ICT major, which means that if the degree is considered as ICT minor, then they will not be eligible for a professional year. However, sometimes they are confused, so they just, before starting the professional year, they see whether their degree is ICT minor or major. And also sometimes they, if they want to check whether my qualification is related to software engineer or related to IT business analyst or so on. So that is why you do a provisional skill assessment. A question from Nitesh. If we have positive skills assessment, do we need to have work experience to apply for 189 visa for any state? So Nitesh, for 189 visa does not have any such requirements of having work experience. 189 visa is an independent visa and you can increase your points through work experience. However, that's not a mandatory requirement to lodge an expression of interest. Question from Rohan. Hi, Sanya. I have 6 years of overseas work experience in IT profile and 1 year of IT experience onshore. Do I need to go for a professional year program to apply for PR? Hi, Rohan. So if you have studied bachelor's overseas as well, if it's in IT, and as you already have your 6 years of work experience and 1 year onshore, then you do not require to apply for a professional year. You can apply for a skill assessment under the skills category type under ACS. So we just need to make sure that your degree is into IT. If not in IT, then we need to check how many years of experience is required for that. But you don't, it's not compulsory to do a professional year program. However, doing that, you'll just gain extra 5 points. Question from Aman. Can I change my job by being on an employment sponsored visa? If not, then how should I do it? So Aman, if you are on a 482 visa, then you have to work with your employer, with your sponsored employer. If you want to change your job with another employer, then another company needs to sponsor you. And also, if you become redundant or if you want to change your job, there's a condition of 60 days where you have to find another employer for that. Question from Sudharani. Please guide me with software testing skills assessment. Hi, Sudharani. We'll have to look more into your profile, but definitely you can contact us. We'll have a look. What have you studied and what experience do you have, or whether you have completed PY? But definitely we can help you and provide you guidance for it. Question from Rohan. Hi, Sanya. Can I apply for more than one skill assessment at one time? Hi, Rohan. So ACS unfortunately do not allow to apply for more than one skills assessment. Like you can only apply for one skill assessment at a time, and you have to wait for the outcome to apply for the second skill assessment. I'll just see some Instagram questions. Question from Syed. Hi, what about a civil construction and design? So Syed, we need to know like whether have you completed your degree into civil construction and design? If yes, if it's an Australian qualification, then you can apply for a civil engineering draft person through Engineers Australia and get a skill assessment and lodge your EOI. We'll need more further information to exactly let you know what will be your advice. So question from Mihir, how much time for 491 for South Australia I can consider? So Mihir, I'll require more information like are you talking about 491 visa that has been lodged and needs to be granted or regarding an invitation? So we've got a question from Anand. I came on EN employer sponsored visa as a data analyst and I'm now getting good opportunity elsewhere. I feel that I'm stuck. What do you think I should do? So Anand, like you can visit us to have a more detailed conversation on this scenario. Like we can explain you more pathways, but to give you a brief answer about this is that as you are on a employer sponsored visa, you cannot change your occupation or employer without applying another visa. That is the person who will be sponsoring you has to apply for an ENS visa for you to not breach a condition. However, we can see your background and see whether you're also eligible for a skilled visa options or not, because you can work towards your permanent residency as a backhand as well. So you can contact us. We can see whether your profile is suitable for a permanent residency visa. If not, then we can also provide you further alternatives that we can. Also want to apply for PR. So yes, Anand, we'll have to look like what have you studied, what are your experience, and whether you meet the eligibility requirement of the skill assessment or not. But what we have seen, like as you have come on an ENS as a data analyst, you might have 2 years of experience previously. So you will have a chance to apply for a skill assessment. However, to be sure, we need to see your profile. Question from Garima. Chances of getting an invite 190.95 points and 189.90 points ICT business analyst Victoria, not working in IT field, but closely related field. So Garima, are you working in any other field that's under NZSCO 123? And if yes, then yes, you have good chances because Victoria is currently looking at whether you're working your salary, your points, and superior English. However, 190.95 points is a very good points in Victoria. Last year, we have seen many people getting invited even at 85 points. But yes, working in your nominated or at least under NZSCO 1 skill level 1 to 3 is a requirement which they will prioritize. But however, you can wait for the invitation rounds and see whether you're invited, or you can see whether there is any scope to increase your points. Then you can also work on that if you're not getting a job under skill level 1 to 3. So a question from Anand Soni. Yes, I'm a software automation tester too. What if former company is closed down and we don't have experience certificate for that company? So Anand, like if you have worked as a software automation tester and your previous company has been closed down, you might have your payment evidences with you. And also in ACS, there is an option where you can provide a statutory declaration, and a person can be your declarant who was your manager, who was your colleague during your employment period. So you can provide that stat deck along with your payment, along with two payment evidences, and also the declarant's employment documents to justify your employment with that company. And also you can provide an explanation, but however you can contact us and we will make sure that it goes with a proper file with ACS. Question from Ramesh. Hi, I have completed graduate diploma in early childhood and want to do skill assessment. I have completed bachelor's in IT. I did 2 years bachelor's as I got credit from diploma and graduate diploma in Australia. So my English requirement will be waived or I need to do IELTS. So Ramesh, this has been a question for everyone because AITSL have not specifically mentioned regarding this, like because they have mentioned like you must have completed 3 years of your bachelor's degree. You have completed a bachelor's degree which was registered for 3 years. So technically, yes, your requirement will be waived. However, AITSL needs to be confirmed regarding this. Question from Sitara. Hi, I want to know information on the eligibility criteria and requirement for applying for permanent residency while studying or after graduation. Sorry, I want to know information on the eligibility criteria and requirements for applying permanent residency while studying or after graduation. So Sitara, it's always better to know the requirements and eligibility while studying. So at least you have a goal that after the studies, what will be my next step towards permanent residency? For example, if you are studying IT, then at least after completing, you have a goal that I need to start a professional year if you're not getting a job in your requirement, right? So it's always better to know during your study so that you are well prepared. So, and well prepared for your permanent residency and also for the 485 visa, which you'll be applying. Question from MD Ishraq. Hey, I'm going overseas on 1st February 2024 and coming back on 5th March 2024. However, my student visa will expire at the end of May 2024. Will it create problem as I have will have only 3 months prior to coming back to Australia. So Ishraq, if you're completing your course before going overseas, then it's better that you apply for your 485 and then go overseas, because while returning, if you only have that 3 months left on your visa, then at immigration, they might ask you further questions like why you would like to stay over here and so on. Like you still have an opportunity to apply for 485, which shouldn't be an issue. However, if your course is getting completed before that, then it's better that you just apply for 485 and just go without it, so that you don't face any further issues for that. Just try answering few from Instagram now. Question from Mujahid: what to do after applying EOI at 70 points? So Mujahid, you have to try to increase your PT or NATI. However, 491 is currently closed in NSW and we are waiting for 491 to be open. So once it gets open, then you can consider of applying for 491 in NSW. However, you can also apply for Western Australia from staying here. But in the meantime, while it's closed, you can work towards your PT and NATI and apply for the other EOIs, that's 189 or 190. We got a question from Ashish, like, thank you. As per current visa grant patterns, how much is the processing time for 491 for ICT security specialist, lodged January 2023? So Ashish, like after submitting your application, everything depends on the department and on the case officer allocation when it gets allocated. However, seeing the recent trends regarding our clients as well, we are seeing that people are getting their 491 grants within 6 months to 1 year within that time frame. But at least on a safer end, you can consider 1 year. Question from Aman. Thank you very much. There are rare chances where people clear such doubts. Thank you, Aman. We are always here for you. And if you have any further doubts, you can definitely message or message a marketing team or message us for your further queries. Question from Lakita. Hi, I have applied project coordinator in Queensland with 190 75 points and 491 85 points. I have lodged EOI and waiting for an answer. I'm currently working in regional Queensland in the same occupation. What are my chances and how long will it take? So Lakita, Queensland, as considering the current scenario, the number of seats are quite less in each state, like the number of seats allocated to each state this year, quite less as compared to the last year. And considering the number of seats in Queensland, I would suggest that you could try increasing your points more. However, as you have been working in regional, you have already lodged your 491 EO. I can see that, but I would say that you can try increasing your points because it's quite competitive in Queensland. And also, you have been working in the same occupation. So if you have 2 years or more 2 years, if you have your experience more than 2 years, then you can also consider for the option of 482 with your employer. And that can also be a good pathway towards PR in future. Question from Anand Soni. Is there a good chance for invitation at 0.70 score? Hi Anand, I would require more information, but which occupation is it, or which I guess you had ICT security. Okay, sorry. You need to I need more information regarding which occupation you have lodged and is it whether 190 or 491. However, at 70 score currently, even if it's 190 or 491, I would just suggest you to increase your points because it's quite competitive this year with the less number of seats as suggested before. Question from Shivkrish, Queensland Regional 491 for Civil. Shivkrish, I'll require more information at what points have you applied for. But however, if you're working in regional area in Queensland and Civil, and if your points are quite around 80 from 85 to 90, then you have good chances of getting invited from Queensland because one of my client has received invite at 95 points from Queensland region. All good, guys. You can ask your questions, and if I've missed some of the questions to be answered, then you can always message us and contact us, and you can have a consultation with us for your assessments. If it's IT engineers, vet assist, we help you with all the visas, with skilled visas, employer visas, even GTIs. And our office is located at Sydney, Parramatta, Macquarie Park, and Bankstown. So we are there in all areas of Sydney now. So you can visit with the nearest branch, which is the nearest branch to you guys. And we keep on having this live session so that you people have this platform to share your queries. Whether it's small, it's fine. We are here to question all your queries for today. I guess we have one more question and then I guess we can. Question from Danish. Hi, I have submitted my 491 EOI in Western Australia as mechanical engineer with 90 points. Is there any chance before April to get invited? And also, I do not have relevant experience. Do I need to fill 10-year employment history with irrelevant history? Hi Danish, you 491 EOI in Western Australia 90 points with good points. However, Western Australia is considering construction industry currently. Hence, they are giving more priority to those people having occupations under the construction sector. However, if you do not have any relevant experience, then in your EOI, you don't need to mention any irrelevant one. You just need to mention the relevant. If it gets, then just update it. However, you don't need to fill the 10-year employment history with irrelevant. Got one question from Sahil. I have rejection July and take QUT University, so I have any way to study to Australia. Sahil, you can contact us. We need to assess your case. We need to see from at which date you received your rejection and see whether there is any possibility. And so you can contact us and we can guide you further. All good, guys. So if you have any further questions, please free to contact us. And as mentioned previously, we have our offices. We have 4 branches. You can visit the nearest branch. So thank you for today. Thank you for your questions. We'll end the session today. Thank you so much.